easy as 1, 2, 3. Finding a company that excels in electrical, plumbing, AC installation and repairs, painting and much more. SAS Electrical is here for you, giving you excellent service, great rates, timely completion. Contact SAS Electrical at 709-9215 or 359-1014. Call us today. SAS Electrical. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more. GLS 103.5 out of Tobago.
In your face, all over the place. We're online. You're listening to the hottest internet station
In the Caribbean, GLS
103.5.
out of Tobago. Buckle up those seatbelts. No drinking and driving. No overtaking on the shoulders. No texting and driving. Your family awaits you at home. Drive to arrive alive. A message from GLS 103.5. As the nation continues in its fight against the deadly novel coronavirus, COVID-19, GLS 103.5 urges you to continue observing the new normal. Continue social distancing. Wear your face mask. Wash your hands regularly. Use hand sanitizers. Avoid assembling. And generally continue to clean and sanitize your environment. We thank everyone for their continued yeoman service. The doctors, nurses, hospital attendants, supermarket attendants, hardware workers, those involved in pharmaceuticals, public service transport workers, sanitation workers. You are to be applauded in the fight against this deadly, novel coronavirus COVID-19. We urge the nation to continue to be safe and take the necessary precautions against COVID-19.
A black boy was he. The boy went to school and he come out unseen. Never learn how to read, he never learn about math. Never learn how to write, he never study about that. All he study was his speakers, his sneakers and clothes. He learned how to dress and he learned how to pose. He can't get no work, he can't get no job. He decide to steal and he decide to rob. But little black boy couldn't last long at all. The police put a bullet through his dunce head skull. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and off poverty. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and all poverty. Boy, a rude boy was he. All the boy ambition was to conduct a maxi. With a ring in his nose, a gold teeth in his mouth. He feel very proud when they call him a tout. So proud was the boy that the boy never learned. He could have worked hard and buy a maxi of his own. So he hustled for $1, he hustled for a smoke. He hustled so that he could buy a little coke. Now we hook on the coke and off the maxi. And one more little black vagrant in the country. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and off poverty. Little black boy, think about your race. Little black boy, when will you find your place? Little black boy, go to school and learn. When you're black, you just black, you can't help but being black. But because you are black, you don't stay in the back. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Look in the front, see who's the doctor. Look in the back, see who's the lawyer. Look in the bank, see who's the banker. Look at the business, who's the owner. Look at the staff, see who's the worker. Look at the truck, see who's the dan man. Look who eating out of them garbage can. Look in the jail, see who you see too. A lot of little black boy just like you. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and off poverty. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, you have to show some concern. Little black boy, think about your race.
Little black boy,
when would you find your place? Why, yeah, 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 why, yeah, yeah. Little black boy, take a look at yourself.
little black boy,
Take a look at yourself.
little black boy,
Put your guns on the shelf.
little black boy,
Watch what you do.
little black boy,
Take a good look at you.
little black boy,
Look at other people too.
little black boy,
Is that the way you should be?
little black boy,
Don't put drugs in your vein.
little black boy,
It would drive you insane.
little black boy,
Addle your brain.
little black boy,
Don't you be no fool.
little black boy,
Keep yourself in school.
little black boy,
When you're black, you just black. You can't help but being black. But because you are black, you don't have to stay back. Be black, but be conscious. Brother, be black, but be conscious.
be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Oh, yo, 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 yo. Oh, yo, 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 yo.
Yes, good afternoon to one and all. As we say, good afternoon, reaching out worldwide, internationally. We are here this afternoon with Mr. Charles once again. And I must say, it's such a great afternoon being here. Thanks be to God. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Charles.
Good afternoon, my brother.
How are you?
Excellent and peaceful as usual.
I like that word.
What up, ma'am? We had an emergency this evening.
Yes.
Well, this afternoon, and I indicated that so you would have informed your viewers and listeners that we are going to be just around after 6 o'clock.
Yes, I had sent to many.
So I am here
Good afternoon.
to continue our
Nikki.
program.
It's wrong. Good
Well, I know we are in
afternoon.
the election season, as you know.
Yes.
Deep into the elections,
Deep,
we only have a
very-
few days, only about 19, 20 days
Yes.
to the election date.
19.
Yeah, and we need to talk about it because there are lots of things that are happening in the air, happening around in Tobago and in Trinidad. With the COVID, as you know, the new normal. Election campaigns are not what they used to be. Everything now have to be done by social media, conventional media, on the air. If you go around in the communities and so on, you know, the social distancing, you have to make sure that when you're having your meeting, it's in a particular place where you are either live on something or on the conventional media, that people will be home in their house and listen to it. I mean, we have been campaigning like that for a long time, years gone by. But now it seems to me that is the norm. That's the norm now. So we are accustomed to it. But may I just start by saying that nomination day went on the 17th, Friday last week.
Okay.
And it's only now I can give you the details of things that I have been saying to you without giving you the full story, just leaving it there with the reasons for that. There are tactical and strategic reasons for that. And now I'm able to break some of those so that people understand the depth of what we were saying. You remember I was saying that Tobago must win the election or Tobago will lose by default.
Yes.
And that are general elections in Trinidad and Tobago, like the one coming up here now on the 10th of August. That election for Trinidad is when they are electing their managers to manage the affairs of Trinidad.
Yes.
And that is why party is important in a general election in Trinidad, not in Tobago. Because when you have a party, you have to be looking for who is going to be my Minister of Education, who is going to be the Minister of Health, Tourism, Agriculture, all those kind of stuff, national security, social welfare, development, and so on. So you need a team of people who you will be able to have in your cabinet in order to assign those responsibilities for. So you need a party so that you would have a group of people who will come on board, who have the same common purpose, the same philosophy, and so on. And then the population will vote on that particular basis. You need party in Trinidad. So the campaign in Trinidad right now is about party. Which party will be the managers? And which one will be the check and balance on the managers. So the managers will be those who win the election and form the government, really the executive, who form the government. And then whoever did not win will become the opposition to sit down there. But this is the same election that we are participating in Tobago with 2 seats.
Yes.
But the 2 seats in Tobago not to be part of that. So this is why we were saying in Tobago, a general election is not about party. It's not about party. Because we are not looking for our managers to manage the affairs of Tobago, so we don't want a party in order to have a group of people who will become Secretary for Education and Health and Works and Tourism and so on. Next year is our election for that, the Tobago Assembly election. All we are required to do as Tobagonians is to vote in this election 2 candidates who must go to the House of Representatives, the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, in order to stand as Tobago, not belonging to government or opposition, who will be able to speak for Tobago on any issue for Tobago, represent us and speak for us. You can't be government or opposition. Right now what you do have is, and we're going to say something about that to tell you how people have been lying to the population. Both the PNM and all of them, UNC have been lying to this population. Even the PNM too, even Dr. Rowley have been lying to the population. And I'm not attacking anybody. It's the truth. Because I'm going to give you some data on that. Oh, I wonder if I leave that in my car. No. So that is what this election is all about. To select 2 persons. So when we were saying to you and to Tobagonian without declaring it, that hello, the election in Tobago is not about party.
Yes, I remember you said that.
You remember that?
Yes, I remember.
It's about selecting 2 persons. You don't care where they come from. Once Tobagonians show that those 2 people are people who will go down, not joining with government or joining with the opposition, but will be able to stay as Tobagonian and represent Tobago. And I give you a name like Dr. Winston Murray and Mr. A.N.R. Robinson. They did not belong to the government party in the parliament, nor the opposition party. At that time, it was the PNM was government and the ULF was opposition. So they stayed as DAC, a Tobago party with only 2 seats in the parliament. We still have 2 seats here now. Is what we do with those seats will determine what happened to us in Tobago. We'll spend a little time on that in a minute. Since after that time, we have been sending down people. Most of them have been PNM, except in 2010. 2010 to 2015, there were 2 TOP-UNC, we'll call it partnership, which was Dr. Baker in Tobago West and Vernola in Tobago East. And they were down there for 5 years, just like Ms. Shamfa Kojo right now and Ayana Webster. And they couldn't say a word on behalf of Tobago because what? They did belong to the government team. So they can only speak for the government. If you belong to the opposition team, you can only speak for them. And they have to permit you to speak in the parliament, the way the parliament works. So this is why Tobago must not get involved in that. This is a two-island nation.
Yes.
But we have one parliament in Trinidad. But it's the parliament of Trinidad and Tobago that pass laws. We don't have a voice down there. So if you go and be government or you be opposition, it means then that you can no longer speak for Tobago. That has been our experience over the years. And I gave you all these examples. You remember 2015. Because that was the last general election. And I know why I'm looking for this. I pick up this file, went to a meeting today, and I just pull out a couple of them and hand them to somebody. I hope I didn't drop it. No, I believe it's here. But it must get hidden somewhere about below here. I will find it for you in a minute. And it's something I want to show you. And there's a reason for doing that. Tell me about here. Why have you hidden? Oh, yes, man. They're right here. I still have a few in a file that I pick up. Mr. Murray, hold that. And I'm leaving that one with you.
Thank you.
What does it say? In 2015, we were not One Tobago Voice. We were the platform of True TPT. What does this say? Vote the TPT and give back Tobago its voice in the parliament in 2015. I contested the election in Tobago West. And the lady who is going up in Tobago East now for the One Tobago Voice, Mrs. Julianne Henry King, she went in Tobago East. And this was our campaign. These are the flyers, These are the flyers we giving to people and explain to them, say, hey, do not go and vote for PNM or vote for anybody that is an agent of the UNC, or else we are going to lose our voice. There is not going to be one movement in Tobago. Don't vote for Miss Shamfa Kojo in Tobago West because she's going to only be speaking for the PNM. Whether the PNM would have been in government or in opposition. And she can, well, the PNM went into government. And as you know, they remained there, both of them, for 5 years and could not say a word on any matter that belonged to Tobago. We warned the population. While we were campaigning on this as our main issue, because we know that is the issue that affecting Tobago, our businesses, our sea bridge, our air bridge, everything that's happening in Tobago, that is the key to it. Don't send your representative down there to belong to government side or opposition side. They would not be able to speak for you. What was the PNM response to this? Can we tell you? The PNM response to that, no. Vote so that they could be in government to fix the Tobago business. In fact, one of the things that they say is that Shamfa Kojo in Tobago West. I remember I was down here, I went up as the candidate down here. Yeah. Shamfa Kojo in Tobago West and Rowley, that was the name they used, Dr. Rowley, will give us our self-government, will give us the power so that we could be able to do this. Now, 5 years gone, we are now going to face another election. This is why I'm going to tell you, all of them are untruthful to the Tobago. And if the Tobagonian don't wake up, I go say something about it. After this election, there's no budgeting. This country gone through it. All countries gone through, especially Trinidad and Tobago, are going to explain that to you. What is he telling you now? And all of them now come to tell you, we wanted to give you the power to be able to generate what you want to do and develop Tobago in a particular way. But we don't have the numbers in the parliament to do that. To do it, yes, and we told you all that. That was our campaign in 2015, that no party will win a sufficient number of seats in order to pass the Tobago thing. So if you vote in the election and either vote for people who will be government or opposition, by the way you vote, you are going to create an enemy in the parliament from whom you would have to go in order to get some vote to fix up the Tobago thing. They're telling you that today, no? They're telling you right now, the UNC, we couldn't get them. But listen to me, sometimes these things get me so angry. Both the PNM and all, they're lying to Tobagonian. We spoke the truth to you all. Now they come after 5 years to tell you the same thing that we were telling you before the election and during the election. They come to tell you, oh God, we can't do it because the UNC had to give you some vote to do that. Exactly what you were told. They now come to tell you another piece of lie. And I am going to expose it too. Remember we told you the same thing about Duke?
Yes.
And we said to you all, this election is for Tobago to send 2 representatives to the parliament. It's not about party. You remember we have one Tobago voice.
Yes.
And we said to you, Watson Duke, and that's where Rowley just tell the fella Sunday, Dr. Rowley just tell them on Sunday, that Duke is the agent of the UNC.
Yes.
What we saying, and we tell you that for months, we saying that all the time for months.
All the time.
Is the truth. But he's telling you a half truth. We told you all that. We told you all that since 2013, the UNC took a decision in Trinidad. And it's not a joke. The UNC took a decision in Trinidad after 2013 when they came to Tobago with the TOP, and the people went and voted 12 PNM into the THE. You remember that?
Yes.
They didn't vote against the
As
TOP,
the
they
nation
voted
continues in
against
its fight against the
preventing
deadly
the
novel
UNC
coronavirus,
from coming
COVID-19.
to take over. Now, as a result of that treatment, we're not lying to the population here. We born, live here, we don't have to go nowhere. And I tell people that. As a result of that, the UNC met, I say it on this program too, and took a decision because of the treatment meted out to the UNC in 2013 for the Tobago House of Assembly election, that they are never going to be visible in an election in Tobago. Although they want the 2 seats in Tobago and they want to control the Tobago House of Assembly, they will never ever show their face as UNC in Tobago. They will find an agent in Tobago to do that. We said that to you all. We know that is so. So Duke from 2015 was an agent of the UNC. They finance him as an independent in 2015. They finance him also for 2017. And now they're spending more money on the seat on the PDP in the East, on Duke in the East, than they're spending in their own constituencies. We tell you that. I hear Dr. Rowley now say the same thing. It's a fact. But you can neither vote for the PNM nor the UNC because your seat is going to go to form either government or opposition, and Tobago will have no say. We will not be able to. That is why we say we have to send up a candidate in Tobago East to represent Tobago. Remember, we didn't talk party. This is not about party. So the one Tobago voice of Juliana Henry King up in Tobago East, who we know will go down to the parliament. She's not going to be government or opposition, but will use that position in order to make sure that Tobago gets its rightful due. Let me say this. The girl, not Boris, Grace Boris, she's PDP, though. But they don't know that Duke, I really serious, that Duke is actually sold out to the UNC. But they are part of that organization a long time, and we didn't want you to leave. So what the One Tobago Voice, the truthful party in Tobago says, we know, and you hear us speak already, that girl is not going to sell out Tobago, so we are going to support Tasha Boris in Tobago West as the candidate that will go down there, not becoming government nor opposition, to stand up for Tobago. And the candidate in the Tobago East will be the girl, Juliana Henry King. Those 2 candidates, we have no doubt about them. Because Ayanna Webster Roy has been there for 5 years. And we're not criticizing nothing that they do. They will not be able, and Rowley said the same thing, they're going to be in the government again. Same thing going to happen to us. So we are not to vote. Tobago 2 seats must be used to liberate and empower the people of Tobago, not to go down there to join any side, to go make a number in order to outnumber the other side. Or else Tobago will not be able to get anything, as they have not been able to get anything for so long. So the wrong thing to do is to vote for PNM. You can't vote PNM, neither can you vote for Watson Duke in Tobago East. But we have 2 candidates, and we tell you the truth that will set you free. But you see, if you link everybody and say PDP, it means that you're going to also rule out the girl down here. Rule out Tasha Boris. We say is a half truth. She not going to be with Duke to join no UNC. We know that. She commit to that. Not to do something like that. But Roy and Kojo will not be able to do one thing for Tobago as they have not done. Remember, I brought this document here some time ago very quickly. This is the 26th day of November 2000, you know. This is 20 years.
20 years ago.
Yeah. And I read a little part for you the last time. And it's just one little part in the bottom. I just want to read for you again. This was said to you all, you know. So many things were said in this document when we launched the 2000 campaign. Let me read that line again for you. That sentence. Let me pause. Not a sentence. Let me start the paragraph above. When Tobago is negotiating for genuine constitution reform, a strong-minded Tobago party must represent our interests. You cannot send the PNM to negotiate with the PNM over internal self-government for Tobago. Internal self-government is the power you want to fix up Tobago. That's what I mean.
Yes.
What we say? You can't send a PNM from Tobago to go down there and join with a PNM. You not going to. This is 20 years old. We see what happened over the years. Nothing. Listen to this. Worse, you cannot send a deputy. That time there was Orville was the man. You cannot send a deputy to Manning to negotiate with him for true powers of Tobago. As deputy, he must serve his master. That is what it is. They are all puppets from Tobago because the principal and the leader is from Trinidad. He will not have the final say, just like none of them would have any final say. Just like when Charles was there, you remember, the man tell him, take a seat in Tobago. The man talking about Tobago, you vote him as chief secretary. The political leader come up here as prime minister, take a seat. We're going through this and we're still going down there. And I'm going to say something to SCU. You will not have the final say and will have to go repeatedly to beg for a chance to fix up Tobago. When the answer is no, he will come back paralyzed. The deputy will always come back to Tobago with economic and political crumbs. Remember, at that time was Manning. Do not want to hear anything about internal government for Tobago. This is the line I wanted. And I'm going to end there for the time being. I want to take me time to say it. So no Tobagonian in the PNM. Let me read it again. So no Tobagonian in the PNM will ever win more than what we have Tobago, what we have today. 20 years ago, I said to Tobago people and to the world, if you send a PNM to Trinidad in the parliament, they will not be able to win anything for Tobago because they will have to toe the party line. Furthermore, it will be a case of Caesar going to Caesar, and we can never trust that again. We know that the PNM, and we cannot trust them with the destiny of Tobago children. We went down here and talk about the UNC too, you know, in the same document, and say the same thing of the UNC, and beg Tobagonians, oh God, you have seen it before. You see Robinson Murray. The two of them don't belong to nobody's side. And Robinson is one of the greatest statesmen in the world. He resigned from the PNM and come on and said, oh God, if you send your brightest, most intelligent Tobagonian to Trinidad, once they belong to a party in Trinidad, Tobago will have no voice and they will lose the voice. So we want to give back Tobago its voice. That's how we were able to move the motion for self-government for Tobago and win the assembly and get the assembly. That's what happened. But you're now still sending them down. And nothing is going to happen. So when they tell you now vote back for Shamfa and vote back for the girl Roy, nothing is going to happen. And Duke now is the person to represent the other side. Okay. And then now, this would be the PNM in the parliament. The other side now is what? The UNC. Duke now is going to now become the UNC, which would be the same thing. Keep your 2 seats as Tobago. And the only party, I'm now saying party, that represents that in Tobago is One Tobago Voice. But we now know since Duke did the sellout, we have candidates who are there, like Farley. They don't know. And the girl now is a candidate inside the Boris lady. She going up in Tobago West. And that's why we say we are not putting up any candidate against her, because we are convinced that she will be a voice just like Juliana Henry King, who will stand up not belonging to government nor opposition to make sure that they speak for Tobago so Tobago can get the business done. So don't believe the Prime Minister on that part. It's not the PDP. Well, of course, they're attacking each other. So it's not really the PDP, it's Duke. So we have to remove Duke. That's why we send up a candidate in Tobago. He's against him. And there are other reasons why we send up the candidate. We mentioned it here already. That no Tobagonian, a man who is facing a criminal charge, especially for offense like sexual offense, cannot come to the population and ask them to send him in the highest forum of this land, the highest institution in the land, to represent Tobago. And when he goes there, representing the whole of Tobago, our churches, everybody. We can't have our pastors in Tobago, our religious people, our saints in Tobago, voting for a man that facing a criminal charge like sexual offense. We never say guilty or innocent. We can't do that. We can't find nobody else to send. Tobago got to be something wrong with us. What do you think the outside world will think about us? A fellow was talking to me about that just last week. And he was trying to tell me, boy, Duke may win. And I say, hey, once we go out there with a campaign, he can't. Well, you never could tell what people will do. Because no sensible people will do that. Here I ask the person. I said, tell me something. If Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson was still alive and in the politics of Tobago, do you think that Watson Duke could have gone to A.N.R. Robinson with all these matters over him and tell him he want to go up as a candidate to represent Tobago? The fellow is so dead. He would never even face it though. Robinson is a man of integrity, ethical behavior and conduct. He couldn't even go face Mr. Robinson door to ask him that. How could we, as Tobagonian, be considering Watson Duke as a candidate to go up with that condition? And I'm not talking about anything I say. I didn't come to attack him. But it's the truth. It's so many matters here above my head. Even the trade union, they broke up that. And I'm not saying that. Something had to be wrong with that peace, God-loving, God-fearing Tobagonian to consider Watson Duke in an election, to contest an election, to go represent us. What example are we setting to the children? What are we showing them? And I never said this. Let's assume the next day he might have come up in the court and they put him in jail. What kind of people are we? We don't have any option. That's why we said we are going to explain to the population and we are giving you an option. We said nobody against the girl who is PDP in Tobago West because she's not going to sell out as Watson Duke. Neither does she have any criminal matter over. And we know, because she has said it, she have committed herself to that. We said we must tell the people the truth that girl go represent Tobago the way we know. And I've been in this for long, 40-something years. I know she will represent Tobago. That's why we're supporting her as a candidate. No PDP. We're supporting that candidate. And we are sending one candidate in Tobago. So the two of them, two women, will go to represent Tobago. None of the other contestants can do that. Duke can't do that because he said, I got to either be this or that in the parliament. Once you do that, Tobago and no voice again. You know that? So he ruled out himself even from that standpoint. Even forget his matters before the court. From that standpoint, he would not be able, he going to negotiate, to make deal with somebody. Tobago lose his voice immediately, based upon how the parliament works. So he's not qualified. And secondly, we have the same two people who represented the PNM there, who could not speak, and God would have allowed that to happen, you know, so that we will see that we have a matter down there. And the Prime Minister have the gall to come here to tell you, yes, Orville London led a team over the, that way saying signal, I saw it in the papers only today. Led a team over the last how many years. And it's quite true that, you know, went through Tobago, met with all the stakeholders and prepared the legislation that they have before the Joint Select Committee. But that was not the Orville initiative. Remember when Orville win the 12 seats? Remember what he did? Wrote the president to have 2 opposition senators, opposition councillors in the assembly. He said, you met with him and he called me, and I tell him this is the direction in which we'll go, but you are the chief secretary. You have to organize this, and we work together. Jack was TOP at the time, because we only had 3 parties in Tobago, and we all met. But as you know, Ashworth pulled out afterwards. And then we ended up meeting all the stakeholders in Tobago and prepare the document that is before the parliament down there right now. But we had no voice down there in order to speak on it. That's why we remained there for so long. And we go in and send back the same 2 people. It will remain there again, and nothing will happen to it.
Just take this comment from Grant. Grant is saying here, Mr. Charles, speak on this, moving quickly here. Yeah, this comment here.
But what issues they want? These are issues. The issue is only one issue we have in the election. But she said speak on issues. It's only one issue in the election. I don't know. I don't understand her. You better the person explain. It's only one issue in the election. This election is about Tobago sending 2 persons down to the parliament that could speak on us. And all I am doing at this place is to show you why only 2 persons who are contesting the election will be able to do that. That's all. That's a major issue. In fact, it's the only issue. That's what the Prime Minister did also up in Signal Hill. So if they want more information, they better say what they mean.
I see somebody said that he need to be real. That's Robert James. Need to real.
Oh yes, you were talking about the person who
Yes.
write that.
Yes.
Yeah, that person they need to. Robert James.
Yeah, Robert James.
Yeah. So that is the only issue in the election. Because you are called upon to vote for candidates, and you have to find out what is the function of these candidates. And we are now putting in context that the function of the candidates that you are going to vote for is to go down to the parliament. They have no other function but to go to the parliament to represent Tobago, so that Tobago will be able to get his business attended to. And next thing is, who are these candidates? Because we have 5 of them and 2 independent. We are doing now is to examine, to find out which of those candidates will be able to do it and which can. And we tell you, because of the way the parliament function, anybody as a candidate from Tobago who become a rep, who is either on a government team or an opposition team, will not be able to do that. So the Kojo and Roy will not be able, as has happened over the last 5 years, because they were either, we don't know who will win the election. If the PNM wins the election in Trinidad, it means that they will be on the government team. If they didn't win and the other side win, they're going to be on the opposition team. And once you are on either one of those teams, you will not be able to speak for Tobago. That's how the parliament works. So that's the issue. There's no other issue in the election. We're not voting for people who are going to be dealing about water. That's THA election next year.
Right. Yes.
Water and electricity and road and housing is for Trinidad, because they are now voting for their managers who should be able to see about water and electricity and housing and agriculture for Trinidad. That's why it is important that they go down there and examine the candidates that are going to see whether in fact they will be able to do that. Those candidates in Trinidad. But our 2 candidates are not to be doing that, because the THA is responsible for those matters in Tobago. When next year comes, THA election, then we will be able to be examined. We will be able to be in a position to be examining the candidates and the program to see whether in fact Those who we sending up, those who the parties are sending up in Tobago will be able to do that. It's the only issue in the election.
All right, take this next comment from Ms. Grant. Okay, what is your candidate going to do for Tobago?
Ms. Grant not here with us. What is your party's mandate?
Yes.
Somebody must be telling her to ask something. I don't understand what she's asking. The role of the candidates from Tobago is not to talk about party. They can't fix up road or health or nothing. That is Tobago House of Assembly. We are talking from Tobago. Their role is to go down to the parliament to make sure that they go down there and said, we want Tobago to have its power so that Tobago will be able to do the development plan for Tobago. Those development plans are something for the Tobago House of Assembly, which will be dealt with in the THA election next year. Don't mix up the issues, Miss Grant. That is why we get hoodwink. I hear Sean talk about airport. That is not for this election. That is a Tobago House of Assembly function that will come up next year in the Tobago House of Assembly election. The candidates that going up now have no... You remember I read them out the last time? It's to go down there to say, Parliament, we want you to fix up this legislation to give Tobago lawmaking. We want you to fix up this legislation in Parliament down there to make sure that Tobago House of Assembly will have the power to write up its own development program and implement it without cabinet dictating where you put a house, where you put a toilet in Tobago. That's what you're going down there to do. Nothing else.
Yes. Keep your comments.
And I will love Miss Grant to comment again.
Send your comments.
We're fighting the wrong fight. Trinidad election now, let me go because maybe she wasn't online when I started. Trinidad election is about party because you need a party in Trinidad that will become government and one will become opposition.
Yes.
Because the government would need to be managers of the affairs of Trinidad. Which of us going to become, when we become government? Education, who going to see about health, who going to be seen about public utilities, who going to be responsible for agriculture, who going to be doing national security, who going to be doing social services. That's why you need party in election in Trinidad now, because they are now selecting their managers to manage their affairs. Tobago is not doing that, although we are voting in the same election. It is next year THA election that Tobago will be dealing with the party, because we are now going to be selecting our managers who will be running Tobago through the THA next year. Then those issues come up next year.
Understandable.
Simple. We vote in the wrong vote all the time. Because you're hearing it on the television and talking about we want a party to win. Were you doing that? When the party win, what happens? You running government in Trinidad? You want your voice to go down there so that you will be able to get Tobago fixed up so you could get a job in Tobago. That they don't have to tell Tobago, block down the people in Tobago House, when we should have been down there responsible for sitting down with the people in Canaan Manaccord and discussing as THA how we will deal with that, even though you need an airport.
Yes.
But the fellas in Trinidad don't care about you. They make decisions about things in Tobago that they don't even know the place they're making the decision for. And that's what why you were sending two representatives to go and speak on that behalf. I remember Mr. Robinson came back here and told us this, that he was in the cabinet with Johnny Olaran as Minister Petroleum and Mines. The Eric Williams cabinet, remember he was finance man first, and he was the deputy. And he said they brought up something about the drilling for oil and gas. Johnny Olaran, he was Petroleum and Mines. We now call it Energy and Energy Affairs now, like Franklin Can now. So that was the Franklin Can then.
Right.
Johnny Olaran. And Mr. Robinson, as representative of Tobago, was in that cabinet. Just remember, was there as the Minister of Finance in that cabinet. And he sit down in the cabinet. And when he looked at the coordinates, he said, but wait, but this place while you giving out a concession to drill is Buko Reef. I'm serious. He said, but these coordinates spell out that this place while you now going to give out to an oil company to drill is Buko Reef. So when they re-examine it, Buko Reef, that what was destroyed. If Robinson wasn't there, Buko Reef is gone. And that's the point I am making to the person who talking there, the Grant, or whoever that person is. And I love them. because they have their questions and they must have it attended to. And that's all we're trying to do, to explain to them how the parliament works and what is the function of the representative in Tobago. The representative in Tobago has a different function apart from the general lawmaking function that parliament does. Have a different function than the representative in Trinidad. Because the representative who we vote for in Trinidad right now, if they win the government, some of those representatives will become ministers of government and be in the cabinet and will be responsible for executing and carrying out functions. The candidates in Tobago can't do that because those functions are the Tobago House of Assembly in Tobago. So they have a different function. So it's a different campaign altogether. So don't listen to your TV and your radio and all of this thing and vote PNM and PNM come in and PNM. That's not Tobago thing. PNM come in to do what? You want Tobago to get back your voice in the parliament. That's all. Let them keep the comments coming. I am so loving and I want to answer them because I know that people are ignorant. They don't know.
Yes, our callers, viewers, you can also call in our number if you're calling from outside. Our telephone number is 1-868-471-4244. And if you're from Trinidad and Tobago, don't forget it's the same thing, 471-4244. So you can either call by WhatsApp or you can call direct, and Mr. Charles will be able to answer your
I tell you,
question.
This is 20 years old. Listen to what we said in 2000 when we launched the 2000 election campaign. I was Chief Secretary. Listen to what he says. Parliamentary representation for Tobago. Our representatives in the parliament in Trinidad must fight for our rights, which is Tobago's rights. Not party, you know. They must not be the servants of people or parties in Trinidad. That's what we have been doing for how many years. That's why Tobago matter is not being attended to. You go down there to be ministers and go down there to be this, and Tobago matter is left there. They must be independent ambassadors for Tobago in the fight for what? Equal status and equal opportunity for our people. Finally, until we finally achieve constitution reform, the parliamentary representatives of Tobago must be our ambassadors. They go down there to become executive. Ambassadors who represent the country, you know, so they're not representing Tobago. They go down there and become ministers and get tied up and get on one side or the other, and they can't speak for Tobago. Tobago loses voice. So we can't get nothing done. This 20 years old, you know. They will do their part, but their priority must be to go to parliament to fight for Tobago. Hear this, not merely to make one party in Trinidad control government down there. So over the next 5 years, our parliamentary representatives must lead a struggle in the parliament. What are we struggling for? And I mentioned a couple of them. And Tobago's financial independence. And I spell out what that means, you know. The right for Tobago to make its own applicable laws. We spell out what that means. To make its own laws for good government in Tobago. To make its own laws for environmental management in Tobago. To make its own laws for property acquisition in Tobago. So government is not to come down to deal with our airport people along there. This 20 years old. 20. What I said? For over the next 5 years. So between 20 and 25, 2000 and 2005, for the next election, if the PNM win all the time. If the representative in Tobago had done their job, we were not going to be in the position we're in today. They go down there and become part of government or opposition. And that's what I'm trying to explain to Ms. Grant. To make its own laws for property acquisition, to make its own laws for the collection of statistics in Tobago, and to improve pensions and stimulate domestic saving in Tobago. The right of Tobago to formulate and implement policies on the matters that affect Tobagonians without cabinet interference.
Okay.
And it's a lot more, you know, but just read that.
Yes,
to say, had they taken this and not voted PNM from 2000 to now into the parliament. And as you know, between 2010 and 2015, it was no longer PNM.
Yes.
It was UNC-TOP.
Yes.
Vonell and Baker. They went down there and do the same thing too. Went and become what? Government. As a result, they couldn't speak on behalf of Tobago. So nothing happened to Tobago. And we now back another election now. And we say, hey, don't go and vote for anybody who will be UNC, because UNC may either be government or opposition. And don't vote for anybody who will be PNM. They will either be government or opposition. Keep your 2 seats as Tobago. And this is why we're saying Boris in Tobago West will not be government nor opposition. And Juliana Henry King will not be government or opposition. They will be able to articulate for these very things that I say we ought to have been doing 5 years from 2000. So 20 years gone. Nothing happened.
Good afternoon to Mr. Winston.
Who is Leet?
Mr. Leet. Yes, good afternoon to you.
Good
having you
afternoon.
on board, Mr. Leet.
And Godfrey, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me say this. I saw what I've been saying this to you and for a lot of others, for a little while. And we have to be very careful. I saw a lady saying, well, she said, on the program this morning, you saw it, Brother B?
Yeah, I saw that program, yeah.
I didn't see all of it because I was moving. That people doing the same thing over and over and expect to have a different result.
Yes.
And we describe that in the world and in psychology too as insanity. So we don't want to think that everybody in Tobago is insane. Because we're doing the same thing. And somebody sent this to me today that says, the forest was shrinking, but the trees kept voting for the axe. For the axe was clever and convinced the trees that because his handle was wood, he was one of them. Let me go over that slowly again. The forest was shrinking, meaning trees disappearing, trees disappearing, trees disappearing. Fewer trees remaining in the forest. So the forest shrinking.
Yes.
But the trees kept still voting for the axe cutting them down. but the axe cutting them down. But the trees kept voting for the axe.
For the axe, right?
For the axe was clever and convinced the trees that because the axe handle is made of wood, that he was part of the trees. And that's what Tobago suffering.
Yes, Mr. Winston, you can ask your question.
Yeah. That's what Tobago are doing.
Don't forget.
You vote in PNM. You voting them, giving your power to extract your resources. They fattening themselves, building up Trinidad. Keep you hungry because they want to tell you, I am part of you. I am part of you. So they are able to convince you. When the person said this, I say, wow. Forest shrinking. Axe cutting you down.
Exactly.
But the axe clever, you know, boy.
Yes, if it is again.
Convince the trees. Look, man, I am part of you because my handle is wood. My handle is wood. Chop down everyone.
That is food for thought, sir.
Yes. That is what happening to Tobago people. The axe handle make from wood. Chopping down the trees, you know.
So Mr. Winston, you can go, you can ask your question, or don't forget,
Well,
can also...
Can you convince me that the PDP Tobago West... How do I convince you? I'm telling you something. I've been speaking the truth on this place for a long time. There's nothing I can give you that is so. They have committed themselves to that. I'm not asking a question. Everything I tell you over the last how many years come to pass, including now 2015, the same thing that I tell you in 2015 before the election. Now the Prime Minister come to tell you the same thing now. That we can't give you this government because we have to get some vote from the UNC. And I told you that before the election. They lie to you and tell you, no, me and Shamfan, they got to give you this government. And I said, that not going to happen. Because you're voting to be PNM. Even though they become government or opposition, they will require some vote from the other side. Because you want 31 votes to pass it. Now they tell you the same thing. They lie to you too. So I am now coming to tell you that Boris in Tobago West, though she's PDP, this is why I tell you all, I'm not asking this. I know. Why I think we are, imagine I could have got up in Tobago West. We have so many candidates to go up in Tobago West. But we didn't put anybody because we convinced that that lady will work with Miss King in order to speak on behalf of Tobago. Would not sell out. Duke sold out. That's why we sent, he's PDP, eh? We sent somebody against him. So that the people will have a chance. So in case they go and make a mistake and vote for him, when it happens, they can't say, oh God, oh, we didn't have a chance, we didn't have a choice, boy. We did find out after, but we didn't have no choice. We give you a choice.
I see Mr. Winston send back there.
I don't think
You understand
what I have asked.
what I have asked?
I think can you convince me that the PDP Tobago West would be independent? I just said yes. Oh, you mean, except you're asking something else?
No, I think he didn't actually get that part there.
I told him, yes, I am convinced beyond a shadow that that is so. And I went on further to be explaining that I have been telling you all some truths, things that you all didn't know, and all of them would have come to pass. That is all I was doing there, by just explaining further. Maybe you didn't hear the first part. That yes, she would not go and join with that. If you listen to when she speak. But remember, that was an organization, and I was telling you, and that's why we were saying on this very program that this thing is not about party. It's not about party. Our election this year is not about party. It's about two representatives who go to Trinidad, no matter where they come from. Once you assure us, Tobagonian, that they will stand for Tobago without going and become either government or opposition, so that we lose our voice. Because once you do that, you have to be permitted by the side you are on in the parliament to speak. The only way you can get up and speak in parliament for Tobago is if you do not become opposition or government. You remain independent Tobago, like Robin Stanmore. And that girl, and the one we sent up in the east, Mrs. Juliana Henry King, will do that.
Okay.
But we know Mr. Duke has taken his plenty money, you know. The UNC spending more money in Tobago East than they're spending on their own thing. We said that before, you know.
Yes. So don't forget, viewers, you can also voice note us. The number is right below the screen, so you can
Maybe
send
we
us
can go a little longer if you think we go. Yeah, that's right. So that people will be able to call in.
Yes.
And text in.
Yes, so you can send your message, you can call in.
Yes, man. I love to educate my people. I have been involved in this thing too long, and if I have any doubt in my mind, because, there are some things we haven't said before, because we have had conversations with the people, We were supposed to have a meeting. Remember, I came here and said that they had written to us, the PDP, for a meeting just that weekend, the Friday, when they went and launched their office. And then I read it, I said it here, and so on. And then you cancel the meeting.
Yes.
He didn't sign the letter, It was Faith Brebner who signed the letter as the deputy, and Farley delivered it as the next deputy, and said the leadership want to meet with us.
Okay.
And had they met with us, we were going to say to them, we haven't said it there, One of the things I was going to say, because when Mr. Duke met with us very early, when we were forming One Tobago Voice, and I said, but we have some serious matters of integrity and ethics here, that we had to raise. We didn't discuss the detail. Was the cases that he had in the court, he didn't come back. So he knew what we were going to do. So he knew. And he knew the reason why he canceled this particular meeting. We are going to say the same thing, that we're going to, this girl going up down here, and you should withdraw. Because you should not impose yourself on the population of Tobago. A Christian-loving, God-loving, fearing society. You can't have these matters hanging over you and asking people God-fearing people to go and send you in the highest forum in the land. Those are some of the matter we are going to raise with him. Duke knew. So he didn't turn up, he canceled the meeting. And we would ask him, if you have another candidate, because we are looking for the THA to manage the THA next year. We were looking that, so withdraw yourself. You want to replace yourself by another PDP candidate, Farley? If it is set up Farley in Tobago East, we would set up no candidate against any one of them. Because we know that them two people are not going to go and sell out. We know that.
There's a next comment from
Because you don't have a party.
Winston. You got to take it on that next screen across there.
Kind of hard.
Oh, that one.
Kind of blood. I like the lady you put up. I am convinced that she
Well, you will see that on this screen.
knows what she is about. I heard her this morning. Yes, remember, she and Mr. Mapp have been working with me for the longest while, even on the Tobago Constitution, the autonomy question. So she has been there all the time working on that. In fact, she was our candidate in 2015 in Tobago East. So she knows her stuff. Okay. They're still under training though, because there are little things and so on that we still train on. Even today, we're doing some little training on that. Okay. But she's very good. And just remember, they are with me, and I give them what I know. And I want to say this again openly. I say it on your program. I want young men and women in Tobago to come to Breeze Hall where I am. Let me sit down and train them in order to run for office in Tobago, because you will be grounded to take over the place. We are going out. This is not a secret. We ask them to come. Don't follow foolishness. Don't follow people who don't know. They will lead you up a Google tree. And Tobago have to understand this, It is said, I don't know if it's I wonder if it's an African, I have to try and find if it's an African proverb that says this. Tobago have to unite and speak with a voice. That's what one Tobago voice was, Yeah. Speak with one voice. The African proverb say, when spiders unite, they can tie up a lion. Lion is the king of the jungle. He has killed lion, he has killed elephant. He's the food. Yes. But listen to me, little spider, when they unite, they could tie up the king of the jungle and kill it. Mm-hmm. Tie it up, you can't see. Web all over because they unite. Yes. And that is what Tobago should be doing. But then the time is going to come after we get our power. When we unite and get our power, you would want a government in place to deliver that. And of course, you would want check and balance on them. So somebody who didn't win as part of that team will become opposition or minority, so that you could be able to always have debates and so on. Okay. But you really need a unification of Tobago when you're talking about your power. Yes. One of the other things, remember I said to you, the richest country, the richest island, and I say country in the Caribbean, is Tobago.
Yes, I heard that even from Mr. James mentioned the same thing too.
Yeah. But listen to this. We had prepared this document I'm not reading the whole thing, in 1979. The 26th of January 1979 to go to the Caribbean. I led those teams, led 2 missions abroad. Mm-hmm. Because remember, since 77 that the parliament passed that Tobago should have its internal self-government in 77. And the first election was held in 1980, when we should have get it in 1977. Mm-hmm. In that intervening 3-year period, you all don't know what was happening. Exactly. And I read this on Channel 5. Mm-hmm. Men marvel. And I want to just say this one place, that when Dr. Williams became a chief minister, because remember we become independence in 62, but he became chief minister, premier in 1956 when he win, and then chief minister and so on. And then you become independent and you become prime minister. Now there was a development and welfare team which England sent to look at the Caribbean. One day I'm going to read out this whole document the next time I come here. And listen to what the development and welfare team. That team consists of some of the greatest experts in economics, in finance, in whatnot. They came here and listened to what they would have said. The same year, the development and welfare team appointed at the request of the government. Britain hired them, appoint them. The British government hired them. But the Trinidad government under Dr. Williams requested this team, comprising distinguished West Indian experts. And they warned in a report that they prepared. Listen to what they say, quote, Tobago is a distinct community with a history and life of its own and must not be regarded as a mere appendage to Trinidad. Is the next line I want to come to, the next sentence or statement. The report accepted by the government of Trinidad and Tobago made reference to Tobago's colorful past as well as its potential to become one of the most prosperous islands in the West Indies. That was then. It became the most prosperous. And we begging. So when I was saying that we're walking on gold and begging for brass, it's not joking. I alone say so. It here. I want to read another part. When the ruling People's National Movement lost both Tobago constituencies in 1976 general election, you remember there was a Ministry for Tobago Affairs? That was hastily disbanded by the Trinidad government as an act of reprisal. That means retaliate. They retaliate against Tobago. PNM, leaving the island's administration in a chaotic state. One of the dire results being that many public servants work for several months without any pay from their employer, the government. It's something I come into. And we were talking about the current dilemma when we prepared this in 1979. The willful destruction of the Tobago administration in 1976 by the Trinidad government demonstrated clearly the power of life and death it holds over the Tobago community. They still hold it up to today. And I'm not talking PNM alone, all government in Trinidad. A power which also manifests itself in the economic field. And let me read that for you. Let me read how it demonstrates itself in that field. And see if we're not the same place today. Apart from what we would have done between when we took over the assembly here for a short while. For example, the government in Trinidad virtually excludes communication between Tobago and the outside world. Anyone wishing to travel to Tobago from anywhere is, with insignificant exception, forced to travel to Trinidad. Tobago is denied sea and air transport facilities for multilateral communication. Trinidad government control the traffic between Tobago and Trinidad. So when I was saying to people, when we build the Deepwater Harbor, when we took over for a short while, and the international airport, is this we were breaking? Poor you all who are here didn't understand the depth of what we're doing. This is deliberate action by government in Trinidad, and they were PNM too. When we built the cruise ship terminal in Scarborough, is that we were breaking?
Yes. Wow.
When I say we were going to buy 2 boats, not only to travel between Trinidad and Tobago, but to go to Miami, go to CARICOM, to bring our goods, and we must control it. You understand what they say? Is denied. Sorry, the second one is maintains, the government of Trinidad maintains a virtual monopoly over sea and air travel between Trinidad and Tobago. It's only a Caribbean alone. Caribbean island know that traveling. Huh? It's still so. We were going to break the neck of that. It's every government in Trinidad, whether UNC or PNM.
They want control of Tobago.
Yes. And Tobago don't understand that. listen to this, has at the same time increased Tobago's dependence on Trinidad. Oh my God. For essentials of life, example, food, clothing, shelter, power, apart from manufacturers goods of all kinds. Is not, and that remains up to date. You have to go to Trinidad, eat the boat and come up, you starve. Eh? Even the things that come from CARICOM, they pass in Tobago and go down. You have to go down in Trinidad before they send it back up to Tobago on the ferry. I come into something. Listen to this. Has used this power of life and death over the people of Tobago to victimize them for voting against the ruling party in 1976 election, thus undermining their right to vote. You remember? We voted for 2 DSC in 1976, and praise God, you already do that, you know. That's how we win the Tobago House of Assembly, you know. And since the THA come to Tobago, is the time development start in Tobago in a particular way. We put a government in 2000 before the DRC and win this amount of money. But you all change the government in Tobago and hand it to the PNM. And all this money just then no development in Tobago. People coming from here, eating all their bread and carry it away, and all they remain hungry in Tobago. Something wrong with Tobago people here. Now we hope that they will change in this election. Not that. Boast of the amount of money it spends on Tobago, while at the same time depriving Tobago of a single representative in the National Senate. Excluding Tobago's representative from any decision making in respect of the island or from any influence over its priorities of development. This is the same thing we're talking about. Give us our power to determine how we are governed and how we develop Tobago. They're making them decisions in Trinidad. Because you vote and give them the power to do that. Keep your 2 seats here. Vote for a Tobago thing. And the last one on that score, on the economic score. Concealing the existence of petroleum and natural gas in commercial quantities in the waters around Tobago. This is 1979. Like 31 years ago.
Wow.
40. Because we 79 and 21 and 21 and 20. Like 41 years ago. 41 years ago, we said that the government of Trinidad was concealing that we have natural gas and petroleum in Tobago space of commercial quantities. They now admit that? It's out there, they're drilling right now?
Yes, exactly.
You know what we would have been doing with that so far? By this time? But you all continue to vote and give them your power in Trinidad. So when we come on a program to talk to you all, we are come to talk shipping, we don't vote no PNM, or vote no this, or vote no that, or vote no the other. Come to tell you, keep your power. Keep your 2 seats. Vote and keep them to Tobago so that you will use those 2 seats to negotiate, to use them to empower you.
Good afternoon to Antonio Phillips. Mr. Charles, just take this comments from Mr. Antonio.
Yeah.
Who are the ones to make the next move?
Tobago voters. Me, I know, I read it yet. What you say? Who are the ones to make the next move? The next move? Who? What was it? Just vote for the 2 candidates that we who have been saying this for 41 years tell you to vote for this year.
Well,
that's the first move.
I think you just need to repeat who are the 2 candidates.
Yeah, I will do that. No, if you didn't come in, I was
came in. So you know.
No, I was going to name them now.
All right.
Right. But thank you for doing that because that was vote for the 2 candidates that we just tell you. Because there are 5 of them going up. Forget the 2 independents. This just discount them.
Right.
There are 5 candidates going up. Miss Shanfa Kojo of the PNM in Tobago West and Miss Ayana Roy Webster in Tobago East. So Webster Roy or Roy Webster? Webster Roy.
Yeah, that's the way, yeah.
In Tobago East, those are PNM. If you vote for them, you wouldn't be able to make any move like in the last 5 years. And Watson Duke going up is an agent of the UNC. And I'm serious with that. So the only other 2 candidates, one of them in Tobago West, is but she's a PDP, you know. But she is going to be Tobago. Independently Tobago. will work with that girl. The girl going up in Tobago East, Mrs. Juliana Henry King. Those two are the two candidates who will go down there, because this is not about party. It's about two people who will stand up for Tobago in the parliament without going and join any side in the parliament. And that is Boris in Tobago West and Juliana Henry King in Tobago West, in Tobago East. Those are the two. And that will begin this process. So that when we talk in Tobago, they are in the parliament to speak. When they speak on behalf of Tobago, not only Trinidad will hear, but the outside world will hear. But for the last how many years, nothing is being said about Tobago in the parliament. About the problem we are experiencing, the things that they have. They are signatory to the United Nations Charter, and they're still denying you. Oh, listen to this. Listen to this. Oh my God. It is in this context, the suffering I'm talking about, that we passed the motion for international government in 1976. And it is also in this context that the representative for Tobago is move a motion in parliament seeking international government for Tobago, because all these things. But listen to this. The motion in an amended form was unanimously accepted by the parliament. Everybody voted in favor of it. It would preserve the concept of the unitary state while affording the people of the island of Tobago an adequate measure of international government. Listen to this. However, and I'm going to explain it. However, ministers of the government have boasted outside the parliament that they do not intend to honor the decision of parliament. So PNM ministers voted in favor of that because they couldn't vote against it, because they agree with the outside world, the United Nations, and be a signatory to the charter that Tobago should be given it. So they vote for it, and they go outside the parliament and say, we intend to keep that, So that is why 43 years ago, we still ain't get it. The same PNM government. Listen to that. The very government party, the PNM party, went to a convention the same year and repudiated the parliamentary resolution. They go in the convention and say, hey, do we pass that, we have to pass that, but we not going to do that.
Exactly such.
And finally, they send it to a joint select committee. The joint select committee, just like now, come up with a house paper number 6. A joint select committee, they send it to the very PNM. What they do now with this one? What have Keith Rowley and they do with this? Send it to a joint select committee, you still before there? Listen to this. This is 1979 we prepared this. This was sent to a joint select committee in 77. Listen to this. The government members of the joint select committee embark on dilatory and other tactics. Dilatory means delaying tactics designed to frustrate the parliamentary resolution. Isn't that what they do now? This was the PNM party that did this. They still continue to do the same thing now.
Well, we are seeing it. There is a comment from Mr. Antonio Phillips there.
So do we still operate under the ruling? Sometimes I don't really know why people just come on. We have not yet got our self-government, though the parliament passed it. The matter is still before the parliament. It's in a joint select committee in the parliament. And our two representatives, the two names I give you, Grace Boris in Tobago West, if you vote for her, and in fact you should vote for her in Tobago West, and vote for Juliana Henry King in Tobago East, once they are voted for, they will go to the parliament to make sure that that comes out there. If you vote for Roy again and Shampa Kodjo, it will remain just where it is, as it was there for the last how many years? And that will take the matter out of that place and bring it back before the parliament so that we could be able to get this internal self-government, which means we will have our power in Tobago to regulate. We're not breaking up the union. We're not breaking up the unity. We still have with one prime minister, we still have the same president, still have the same train. But Tobago now will have its power to develop Tobago the way we in Tobago see fit, without Trinidad dictating the show over here. Including your air bridge, your boat, your everything like that, your sea bridge.
Yes.
So I'm answering Mr. Antonio Phillips. That is what will happen. But if you continue to vote for PNM candidates, you will have nothing. Or vote for people who are going to become UNC like Watson Duke. We will have nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it's the fact. We're saying that for 43 years. Ask us the question because we don't know what you all lack in terms of the understanding. So if you ask the question, we will be very happy so that we will be able to explain them. Somebody else?
Yes, I see Mr. Antonio asked which he vote for. No, that's not Antonio. Sorry.
No, that is some with Diamond. So who to vote for? I just gave, let me repeat it again.
Yes,
There are two candidates in the elections in Tobago right now, not the rest. There are only two that will go and do the job that I am saying is to be done in the parliament. Tasha Boris, Grace Boris in Tobago West, and Juliana Henry King in Tobago East. Remember, this election is not about party. This is about Tobago sending two candidates, no matter what party they come from, who will be able to do this particular job. And the two people who are going that will be able to do this job is Grace Boris in Tobago West and Juliana Henry King in Tobago East. Those are the two candidates. Nobody else.
All right.
Tape what I am saying and record it.
Of course.
Record it.
Just take this from Mr. Winston Leet, and then we have a voice note from Mr. Antonio Philip.
Big money in TT.
In TNT.
Mango. You the by Professor Anna Tito, Mr. Chazina. You see, me see it. I haven't seen the article. I don't know what it is, but we know that Tobago is the richest place. We'd have given details of that before. So if somebody's saying that now, they're just confirming the things that we would have been saying.
Yeah, I'll just take this voice note from Mr. Antonio Philip.
Good night to all listeners and viewers. Good night to the panel, Mr. Charles and Scorpion. Now my question is, who are the person or persons able to make the next step to make this thing forward?
I have just answered that question
what's taking
again.
them so long?
I have just answered that question.
Good night again, Mr. Charles.
No, I'm repeating
I
it for you.
understand so far there are only two people who are going to do the job in the parliament. But I haven't seen them, I haven't heard about them. It's only the first time you telling me about this, I hearing about this.
That is what this program is all about.
I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're made up of. I don't know nothing. So how can I just go out vote because you say it? How do we of Tobago people know exactly what's these people mission and if they're really representing us? How do we know it's going to happen? How do we know?
Who is Antonio Phillips? I'm just telling him that you either have faith in an organization or anybody, either faith in them, faith in an organization, faith in people, because we have said so. I don't know what is it that you want them to tell you personally. They have been on television, on radio, they have been in about, they have been in the journey for this thing for a long time. And I am coming today as one of the leaders of Tobago to tell you who have been articulating this, who have been in the struggle for this for the longest while. Never changed from Robinson days to tell you these are the two people. What else do you want to prove that I don't know? If you want something else from them, tell me. That is what these programs are all about. The radio program, because remember in COVID now, the COVID would have changed the way elections are done. In fact, a lot of people breaking the rules, you know. A lot of people coming to people's house, going by people's place, say they're talking to them. The whole dynamics change. So no longer they have public meetings out in the square. You have to talk to people now by way of Zoom, by social media, by television, by radio. That's what we are doing. And these candidates would have been on television, on radio, and they continue to be like that. And they are still going around in vehicles coming to your area and going that. But they can't be doing house to house as some people doing it. They're breaking the law.
Let's take this next comment from Diamond. And before we do so, we have a call coming in. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Charles. Hello?
Good afternoon. You go ahead.
How can you say that there are only two candidates, right? Representing the Sheriff Boris is representing a political party which have a vision, right? She is representing the vision of the party which Mr. Watson Duke is leading. So if she's going out to Trinidad, she's going out to Trinidad to represent the vision that the party is preaching. So you cannot discount Watson Duke out of this race at all. This is what I have to say.
I hope you are, when you hang up, I listen to you. Boris is not representing Watson Duke. Watson Duke is the leader of a party. This is why I keep saying the election, the general election in Tobago is not about party. That is what we have been making a mistake all the time and voting for party. When you vote for party in a general election, in fact, let me go over slowly. Maybe you just join us. You talk about party in Trinidad for a general election. Because in Trinidad, in the general election, they are now electing the people who will manage the affairs of Trinidad. So you want a party with a structure and a policy and a program, call it manifesto, whatever you will. Because you want a group of people who will become your cabinet. Your Minister of Agriculture, your Minister of Education, your Minister of Works, your Minister of Tourism, and so on. So you want a party that will work as a team down there because they are managers. We are not engaged in that now. Party will be necessary for Tobago next year for the Tobago House of Assembly election. When we will want party to go because you want a program and to have the people who will be able to be Secretary for Health, Secretary for Education, Secretary for Works, and so on. So you need a party. This is a general election where we are not electing managers in Tobago. We only want two people who Tobago sure going Trinidad and not belonging to government or opposition who will stand up and speak on behalf of Tobago. It's a whole different kettle of fish. And we are saying, I am saying from where I sit, I am not PDP. This is not about party. General election for Tobago is not about party. It's about sending two candidates who will do this job. And I am saying to you from where I sit, one of those candidates is the Tobago West one, Boris, because she just joined PDP. She didn't know anything. Watson Duke has taken his bribe and did what and I mean that. Would have been financed by the UNC. There are people within that organization who don't know what you're doing. And I'm saying the woman going up in Tobago West is one of them. And that is why we are sending somebody against Duke. Let me just say this. Let's assume that Mr. Duke wasn't going. Let's assume that Mr. Duke, the PDP, would have sent Farley in Tobago East or somebody else beside Duke, who had been the person who made the arrangement with the UNC. And I know, because of the discussion we have been having outside, that Farley would not become part of the UNC in Trinidad. We are going to not send up a candidate in Tobago East. But we have given you all an option. That's the issue. This is the issue. People have been voting party in a general election in Tobago. Party is important for a general election in Trinidad because they are looking for managers to manage the business and they want a plan. And the plan is the manifesto. This is where we're going to carry out when we get in government. So you want people inside there to become your members of your cabinet who will be able to carry out this and carry out that. Minister this, minister that. But in Tobago, the election, the people we are setting up in Tobago cannot do that. That is for the THA next year. So next year, when Tobago House of Assembly election comes up, we will now talk party. We can't support, if PDP is still around, we can't support PDP. It could be one Tobago voice and whoever else going up. And all of us will come to you and say, hey, this is our plan to rescue the people of Tobago. This is what we're going to be doing in water. We're going to be doing this in health. We're going to be doing this in agriculture. We'll do this for Tobago tourism. We'll do this for finance and investment. We'll do this for business. You want that. But no, it's not that.
We do have a next caller coming in.
Yeah, even though they come in sometime, we have to hold it until I finish the point I'm making. We can't just rush it and take the calls. So we have to finish the statement we're making, or else we wouldn't be able to answer the person who gone before us. So go ahead and take it.
Hello, good afternoon, caller.
I mean, if you have something, you can put them on
let's
hold.
call it back. So if we are voting not party, the person that is going up in against you, is she's an independent or she going up representing a party?
She representing Tobago. The election is about Tobago must win the election.
She on a party as a party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. Yes, I'm saying that to you.
It's a party. Which is a party.
But it's two party, we tell you, so we're supporting two party. Hello? You there? Don't go off. So we are supporting two party. That's the point, you're not getting the message. So you mean that one Tobago boy supporting two party? That's why I'm saying the election is not about party. You have parties in Tobago. But in those parties in Tobago, you are looking for two representatives for Trinidad that will stand up for Tobago. It's not about party. That's why we could stand up and say, send that one and send that one. They're not necessarily one Tobago voice or any such thing. But they are to go and will go. So if you send up somebody before and we recognize that person will go and speak for us, we support the candidate.
Yes. Let's take this comment from
You have to spend time to explain this to people because they don't understand. It is Tobago that must win the election or Tobago will lose it.
so much true.
Anything other than that is an individual will win but Tobago lose. And that's why I raised the question on the last occasion to say to you, if we are all on a ship, in fact we are all on a plane, you are in first class in the plane, I am in economy class, and the plane goes down, every man jack on the plane goes down. And that is why we explain, you have to understand the election is about Tobago must have a voice in the parliament, not party. Tobago must have the voice. And these are the two voices of Tobago that will go there, not party.
Let's take this comment from Mr. Leet.
You know, some people have had this mindset here. They can't get out of party yet. And that's what Tobago losing all the time. So we vote for somebody as a party. And they go down, they can't speak for you because the party become government. So they can only speak for the government. And as I explained what happened to that girl, Eugene Job Davis.
Yes.
When Hurricane Ivan devastated Tobago East, she was the representative in 2004. Hurricane Ivan and Emily destroyed Tobago East, our own constituency. She went down to the parliament with a motion that is normally done to say, please take note of the disaster and render the help required. But remember, she's representative of Tobago East. But the way the parliament functions, she cannot go and file the motion because she belongs to the government side. So the leader of government business have to tell the speaker, we have a motion to be filed and it is coming in the name of X. So they will meet. So when they meet, Ken Valley was the leader, PNM, and we're not attacking any party. Or me understanding to understand we're not attacking party. Party is nonsense in the general election for Tobago. But it is very relevant for Trinidad. Now, Eugene Job Davis carried on a motion and she went to Ken Valley, the leader, because he's the one that had to put that on the other paper. And what they did, they had a caucus and they said, we're not sure what you're going to say in that motion. Though it's a simple motion, but of course when you move the motion itself, be it so, please take note. You can say and explaining how the constituency devastated and damaged. They don't know all she was going to say. In fact, maybe they didn't have money to even give she to help. So they tell you can't move the motion. You didn't cry. She was PNM, Up to this day, a motion has never been moved in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago of the disaster that Hurricane Ivan and Emily wrought on the people of Tobago East in Delaford. And that's what we're telling people, stop this stupidness about party in a general election. That is where licking up Tobago and licking up you and everybody else. And send down representatives like Robinson and Murray down to the Parliament who can speak for us without belonging to any other side in the Parliament. Once you get that, Tobago is free. Tobago begin is step forward. Yes, you were saying, Mr. Lee.
We have some comments here.
Lee has Miss Boris indicated to Mr. Duke that is what she will do? She doesn't tell Mr. Duke anything. We have to understand this is politics. I tell you, politics is war. Politics is a civilized form of war. And if you notice, and I'm saying this as a strategic tactical move to Mr. Leet, this is why One Tobago Voice had not named a candidate until nomination day. I want to just leave that there. Had we revealed something before nomination day, you may not have even had the candidate in Tobago West going up. Let me just leave that there. You can't say everything on television and radio.
Exactly.
Just leave that there. Politics is a civilized form of war. And people are spending millions of dollars to get something done and to keep themselves in power. And you go to obstruct that, they will physically kill you.
Yes.
They'll set you up for death. So we have to be very strategic and tactical in politics. Politics is a dangerous game, It's not a bishop's tea party. It's not entertainment. So there are lots of things that we have not said. There's something else I have not yet said. But what I can tell you is that that lady down there and Juliana will represent Tobago without joining any party in Trinidad.
All right, understanding that.
Can't say all of it. You should read me between the lines there. This is why we could have named candidates long time.
Yes.
But had we done so long time, certain things were going to happen and I'm going to reveal it someday when I'm here before it's too long. People are going to marvel. In fact, I better, for that matter, I have been in national security for a long time,
Okay.
I've been a minister in that ministry that deal with the coup in 1990. Sometimes when I hear people talk loose story on radio, we don't even know the danger we put ourselves in. And sometimes I say, Lord God, why we talk so much? We don't even understand what we're saying. You know why some people say something, somebody missing today, you don't even know why they're missing.
So true.
We want to be very careful. So when I say we strategically and tactically did not name any candidate, did not name anybody until nomination day. And then nomination day is the day where everybody will know who are the candidates. Because sometimes you name somebody before and you end up, even in the PNM too, something go wrong, they either have some other nationality, they have to pull back. Somebody says something, you have to pull them. It's only nomination day you will know who are the candidates. And we strategically do that to avoid. Because if somebody in Trinidad, as they are doing now, and I better say the UNC spending so much money to finance the campaign in Tobago is because they want Tobago bad to become government. And that money is going to finance the whole of the campaign. And somebody find out something, the next thing somebody's put under pressure, they may die.
So true.
I better leave that there. Know that you're not going to do X and you're not going to Y. Somebody could be eliminated and somebody replace them. I can't say a lot of stories. Just leave it there.
I have seen someone ask where DAC, and there are different comments. So
Some now. The DAC were Robinson Murray, Democratic Action Congress. That was what DAC is. And they did not belong to the government party in the parliament, which was PNM, nor the ULF, which was opposition. They remain a Tobago group in the parliament. And that is why they were not under the control of the leader government business, because they were not on the government team, neither were they under the whip of the chief whip. They were not in the opposition. So that's why they could have get up and move a motion and win the Tobago House of Assembly for Tobago. And that's the same thing we are saying now, that you need to send down two people down there who will stand on their own, not going to become government, no opposition. The moment you do that, they can't speak for Tobago. Tobago gets nothing. And that's our experience over the last how many years? 40-something years. That's why the thing not moving, because we vote in party and not voting function. People who could perform the function that we want them to perform for Tobago.
I see another comments now, viewers. I see a lot of viewers sending comments.
Mr. Lee say, I respect and agree with you on most things, but I ain't with you on this one concerning what? PDP candidate in Tobago. If you have something, reveal it to me. If you have something more about the candidate, reveal it to me. If you don't trust me, you don't trust me. And if I come to lie to you on this television, I would die. Sometimes we have too much doubts. We have too much fear and doubts in our mind. We don't trust nobody. We don't believe nobody. If I am traveling and journeying with you for so long, never one day say something that is incorrect to you that didn't come to pass. And you want to doubt me on this one. You have a free choice.
I see Mr. Antonio.
You're free to do that. And I love you much.
There are so many comments come up on the screen. Not all of your comments.
He said that is my sentiments. It mix up. Yes. Because you have to disabuse your mind from party. That is Tobago problem, like the media problem too. They can't see nothing else but party.
This is why I see they get caught up with.
And Tobago to win the election. Not a party in Tobago. Not one Tobago voice. If everybody had come on board, of course it would have been just one Tobago voice. But everybody not on board. So you look in Tobago to see who out of those parties, the candidates that will go and do the work that you have to do. But the media and all, if you know what you have to do with the media, is now they're beginning to understand, oh God, it's not party. But it's like they're sharper than some of our people online here today. They're sharper. And I mean, I'm really serious. And I'm very honest with that and humble. They're sharper because I explained to them, hey, in Trinidad, you want party. So UNC have to go because they're looking to be government and they come with a plan and they come with a number of candidates, so it's party. And then PNM also is party because they want to run a government. In Tobago, we don't want party because we're not going to select managers to manage Tobago. That's not what the representative is going for. The representative from Tobago can't give nobody nothing in Tobago. They can't be agriculture or health or something because that is THA. This is Tobago. Don't mix up Tobago with Trinidad. That's the point. It can't be mixed up. It's simple as that. Because you're so accustomed to party. You say me party. And that's why you're voting PNM. Because you want the PNM to be. And we said, no. Tobago must not go and use its 2 seats to work against Tobago. Because when you go and vote in this election as you have done in the last one, you vote for PNM. PNM can't get the number of seats and votes in the parliament so that Tobago thing could have fixed. Because you have to get some support from the UNC, which is opposition. Now you vote and they say, you vote against we. You vote against we. You didn't vote for we, you vote for the PNM. No, we're not going to lend you with support. Why do you do that with Tobago votes? That's what party does in a general election. But a Tobago Assembly election is quite different. Right. Don't do that. Who is he? Oh.
Let's take comments from Diane.
Diane, how about that child? You know exactly who you. Oh yes. Diane says, but you know what you're about. Exactly. Just speak the facts. And it's true. Because we have to get away from Tobago. Tobago don't want party in a general election. It's Tobago to win the election, not party. Not party.
Mr. Antonio, I see your voice note.
Mr. Voice note?
Yeah, there's a voice note here. Let's take it.
Oh.
From Mr. Antonio.
All right, now, Mr. Charles, we're looking to see the candidate, but we never know the candidate until election day. How surprising that is. Oops, that's the person. How we expect me to vote?
Stand him.
Right?
No. Take your time with
sudden,
me. Let me
I don't know who I'm looking for. So the ones who advertise is who we know, and they up for whatever they up for. While the others who really supposed to be the ones forward, in secrecy and in quiet. How do we know?
Go ahead, Mr. Charles, you can answer now.
Wait, is Antonio Phillips?
Antonio Phillips.
Mr. Antonio Phillips are trying to explain. I don't know how to explain this to you. All the candidates are outside. I don't know where you want to see them. Where do you want to see them? Where? They are outside there on radio, on television, on the screen, on social media. They're all about in the constituency. I don't know, where do you wish to see them? Long time you used to have a meeting in Boko. Where Antonio from? Boko? They used to have a public meeting in Boko. They would have one in Canaan, Bonaccord, and you would have been able to see the candidates when you come out. That is not so because of COVID. So you only see them on television, or if when they drive around in the area going the spot meetings, you see them. Now people have to remain in the car to listen to these meetings on the radio because you can't congregate. It's a new normal. It's not the long time thing where you know. So you have to adjust. And this is why it is said, if the forest change, the monkeys can remain the same. If the forest change, the monkeys have to change or else they will die. Because you have no more food in the forest. And that's the same point I'm making. That you need to understand that it is not like how campaign used to be long time. And all these candidates are outside there. In fact, I have seen the candidates on television. Even Juliana was on this morning on Channel 5. They're on social media, they're on television, the photographs are outside there. That's the new normal. Right now, when you go to hold a meeting, when you have to hold a meeting, even of your party, it is by Zoom and by some other, and by, what you call it, Skype. You can't even meet. So Mr. Antonio Phillips had to understand. It's a whole new normal.
Before we do go, we have two more comments. One from Mr. Antonio Phillips on the screen, and then Mr. Leet.
He said that before?
Oh, this one right.
Bring the candidates.
This one right here. You what? You sure? Yeah. This is Mr. Antonio here.
Oh, you only look at GLS? So if they're not on GLS, you can't see them? Oh, I see that. I know see his problem. Well, they may not be able because they have their own, they have so many radio and television programs because that's the only means that they have to really do that. And if they can come to GLS, see some arrangement can be made because GLS is not ours. GLS has a program. They have days where people can come here. Sometimes the people, they plan the public meetings outside. They plan the other programs outside.
Yes.
So these are not things that you just decide to do. You have to work with other people. And if they have their own program, the days that are available, they can't come on GLS, but they go on almost so many things. But if they can come here, they will come. If Murray can plan something and they can come on those days, because they have their own program going outside, they are having meetings, they are having these meetings with live on radio, television, right through, going through the constituency, doing that.
Exactly.
You're not in control.
See the next comments from Mr. Leet there?
Yeah, Mr. Leet. Where he is?
Down to the bottom, the last one in the bottom here. Yes. So callers, don't forget every Tuesday right here you can reach us on every Tuesday with Mr. Charles.
I have to take my time again with my good friend Mr. Leet. I am trying to get something, he's not getting out of his system. I just when Mr. Leet right on screen and we say not UNC, it's UNC. Not UNC B team, but UNC. But it is the leadership alone. Mr. Duke. That's the point I'm making to Mr. Leet all the time and you're not reading me. What he say is that I have nothing against Miss Boris. No. That's not the one. No, the one above. I hear you, but the person of which you speak of Tobago West PDP or party is seen as UNC BT. That's the point I have made here. And say, please, Mr. Leet, get away from party for general election. Because we said that to you all that the UNC is financing the PDP, but the arrangements are made with Mr. Duke. There are people in that party that don't know what Mr. Duke has done. But there are individuals inside there that are good to Begonians, just like Ochoy Charles. And Boris is one of them. And that's why we could support her. Because the candidacy have been done before, and we can support her because we know.
Yes. take this from Diamond.
And I think we're going through this for too long.
Yeah, comments from Mr. Diamond there. And then we will take the
Who
one
Diamond?
from Mr. Leet.
New normal not stopping any voting from going on.
And then we have Mr. Leet here.
Yeah, true. Well, no, the new normal not stopping the election day, but it's stopping the campaign process. How campaign used to be a long time. Because we had a public meeting down here already, a public meeting all over the place, and people come out in the crowd and listen. You have them live on radio. No, it's not done that way. It can't be done that way because of the restrictions that are still on. But you're not going to stop the election on election day because now they're collecting the health protocol for the election day where you have in the rubber stamp, they have to clean them, they have to do. They're now preparing those things for election day. But how the campaign is done, and that's what we're dealing with now, is quite different. Completely different.
We have one from Mr. Leet, and before we
Well,
wrap up, we have also Miss Boris.
I just say, good afternoon, sir. Glad to see you that you have endorsed. We endorsed Miss Boris a long time ago. Yes. We endorsed Miss Boris a long time ago. But I will have to teach them some politics that they don't go and ball out. This is why we have been on this program sometime and I say, take it down. You don't know what is happening. And because of what I know at Main Tobago West, if we don't endorse this candidate and go out and do something, because of what was put up just above that, that they are considered UNC. And that's not a joke. But she's not involved. She's not involved in that. And we have been saying that. So we have to be very tactical and very strategic. I can even say this on thing, that there are certain things. Politics is not a bishop's tea party. It's not entertainment. So one has to be very careful. If we come and say this before, somebody could have been killed. We don't understand what's going on outside there, you know. Even Miss Boris did not know. If we say something, and she called and not sure, people not sure, people can be physically destroyed. So you have to be able to be strategic. And it's only nomination day that I now know why I was saying some of the things I was saying. Up to now, I haven't declared all.
Exactly.
And we say we endorse the candidates. A long time we took that position, and we didn't share it with anybody, not even the whole of our steering committee. Because it might have been loose outside there and create a problem.
We have a next voice note.
If I spend $10 million for your campaign, expecting that you are going to come with 2 people to give me, and you're hearing somebody saying one other person are going to join. And when you go, you're not getting the impression. The next thing you know, that person will be passed out. Politics is a dangerous thing. You know? I am 40-something years. I am in this. I see people lose their life.
Wow. Wow.
So when I say to people, hey, take it down because you don't know what is being planned. And by all those comments, if Boris look at it, all those comments that are coming, that is widespread on the ground. You know?
So true, so true.
And since people can't say that this money is coming from X, don't ask the question out there, you know, where you getting your own from. That doesn't answer the question where yours coming from. And that's the real challenge. That's not an answer to that question. Leave it there.
Yes.
Let other people explain.
We have so many comments on the screen, but we have a voice note from Mr. Antonio Phillips. Let
me just move on and take the thing there. Antonio seemed to miss the point. He's asking the same thing over and over, and I can't deal with that. I just explained to Antonio Phillips that, hey, you want somebody because you tell us what you want. Then they come on GLS. And I'm saying we don't own GLS. The candidates may have their own program with other radio and television. Murray is here with his station. He has other people to come on his program. Yes. And if they can come on the program and Murray can accommodate them, they will come.
They will come. So true.
Because I've been dealing with him for the long time in the whole evening, and he's saying the same thing over. How we gonna know? And I'm saying that they are outside there. And then now we say, well, let it come on GLS. And I now say, something can be worked out with GLS. I don't want to, let him put something on the screen if he wants an answer. And I'm not rebuffing him, but he put something on the screen. Because to engage him again on that is really wasting time.
We close. We also close to closing time because it's heading to 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So this election should allow us to step out. And that is Antonio. Then what may be required of Ghanaians after? When he says step out, what do you mean? You see, that's my problem.
And then we have one from Mr. Lee.
This is just stepping out and nothing. We still have 2 candidates in Trinidad. No, you have 2 down there. I'm answering Phillips. You have 2 candidates in Trinidad. Who is Webster Roy from Tobago East and Shamfa Kojo. That belong to the government team that could not say nothing for Tobago because of the way the parliament work. I would want to get that for that. Them come and sit down with me. Let me write something for him. He really is a hard head. Sorry I say that, He's a hard head. And he will require somebody to sit down with him. I'm not rebuking him. Come and sit down with him to explain. I'm saying this over and over in different ways. You have 2 people down there that can't speak for Tobago because they've joined the government. They can only speak for the government, not for Tobago.
Not for Tobago, yeah.
Where you want, no, Ghanaian not leaving Trinidad. We are Trinidad and Tobago, but the 2 people will go down in the parliament of Trinidad and Tobago to speak for Tobago. Right now, you don't nobody could speak for Tobago. That's all I'm saying. And that is what it is.
One from Mr. Lee.
I think we ought to see eye to eye soon, Mr. Charles. Yeah, you can make some arrangement to see me eye to eye. I don't know why.
All right, so people.
But I will not rule out anything. There is any other? Let me make sure we answer everybody.
Yeah, all right, there are some other comments further up. Let me just.
If you're busy yet. Oh,
take this
wow.
one from Mr. Litier.
No, he said he's going to see me eye to eye.
No, this one up here.
No,
you don't want to comment on it?
What? I hear you. No, I answered that already.
Well, what about Diamond? You speak right to Diamond there.
New normal, yeah, I answered all of those already. Well, the last thing that he says was...
There was a lot that we did
look, Philip said, the one that he did say, you want to answer it. Then they come on GLS. I answer that too.
Right. There is plenty here. There is a lot here that we did not...
Robert said, yeah, you know, I didn't preach the facts, yes. But the facts, we not come here to fool nobody,
All
you
right.
see, sometimes people have something in their mind, and they're not able to put it out the way it ought to be, so that we could be able to hear, so that we could be able to express our views on it and give our comment on it, so that we could help them. And even though the person had to come back in again, so that we were able to come back in, so we were able to clarify these issues, but he say the same thing over and over.
Well, I think, Mr. Anton, I don't know what it is that he actually sent, because I'm seeing that he's saying, take the voice note, please. So I don't know definitely what, if he understand you now or he don't. I don't know, because he's a guy who's willing to listen.
Why the voice note? You say you have a voice note in?
Yeah. Let's just take a voice note. We actually close to wrapping up time.
Yeah, we close. We go like the last time because we were late.
I understand fully what you're saying about the new normal.
Yeah.
But sorry about it, because I do have TV. I don't be too much on the radio unless I'm in my car. And the only radio on is GLS mostly, like now. Which I appreciate. If you bring them on GLS station, I might get the info, and others like me might be informed also. I'm just saying. But I need to commend you for your good work and your educational information, Mr. Charles. I respect that, I appreciate that, and keep it up. I support you still, regardless of my doubts. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, there's a voice note, so let me just tell him. And that's what I would have said, that these people would have had their own program with other television and radio, but we now appreciate that you are on GLS. So you would have liked them to come on GLS. And this is why I said, Mr. Murray would have his own people on GLS, he have his own program, he days that he on. If those people don't have something on those days, that when Mr. Murray is free, they could make some arrangement to come on GLS so that you would be able to see them and hear them.
Exactly.
Because even up to today, Juliana was on you saw it, you saw that one. Juliana was on Brother B. Tobago Channel 5.
Okay.
All right.
We have a next comment there.
You take it?
Yeah, let's take it before we wrap up because
Sean
we don't-
Lovelace.
Yeah, if we don't take that, we will end up with a lot for next week. Let's take those comments. Good afternoon also to Mr. Wilbert Leto in New York.
No. Listen to what Sean Lovelace. You have people in your... I don't have no organization. We are Tobagonians. I want to tell Sean, we don't have nobody. Every Tobagonian must be on board One Tobago Voice. Every Tobagonian must be on One Tobago Voice so that Tobago can speak with One Tobago Voice to get our power from Trinidad. When we get that power, then you, the 65,000 people, especially those that are voters, will have a chance to decide who they will hand Tobago over to manage.
Okay.
So let me stop the nonsense about we're not trusting this and we're not trusting that. Nobody in our organization is in government. We are just Tobagonians that have come together, and we want all Tobagonians to come together. And when they come together and we speak with a voice, Tobago will get its power. And when Tobago gets its power, not Troy get the power, or PNM get the power, or One Tobago Voice get the power, but Tobago will get the power. Then now we are going to organize ourselves as parties. One Tobago Voice, PDP, name it. And then you, the people in Tobago, will decide who we trust to give it to.
Yes.
That's nothing to do with me as an individual. That's the little stupidness we have been involved in for such a long time. But we don't trust this and we don't trust that. How could you reject and exclude a Tobagonian from belonging to a Tobago organization that's seeking to get Tobago power? But the time is going to come when the people in Tobago will say, I ain't trust you, so I ain't giving you no post in that. That's the issue. When you're fighting two issues together, you're going to lose.
Exactly.
Tell Mr. What his name was Sean. Tell Sean, if you're fighting that issue, they're going to lose. Because you need to get your power first before you decide that. You don't have no power, and all of us have to talk together to get the power.
Well, let us.
I love him.
Because the comments are going so fast. Let's take these last two. When I say last two, it's going to be the last two for the night.
Yes.
See you all.
Who that?
We have Mr. Lita and I see Mr. Antonio Phillips.
Anthony said we'd have to talk.
We'll have to talk.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Just I'm saying, my pleasure to talk with you.
Right. So
I talk to thousands of people all the time. I love that.
Mr. Lee comments before we wrapped up.
As an educator, Mr. Charles, repetition is very important. I be patient. I am playing a role here. Yeah, I know. Because as an educator, I know repetition is so important. This is why sometimes I come here and I told you I have to repeat certain things. But the point is, I am not repeating. No. The point that Antonio was raising and he now comes in, he's not repeating. He's not repeating, he's asking the same question over and over. Yes. And that's not repetition.
Yes,
and for that matter, if somebody else come and ask the same question that he asked, I would have to answer because that person may now come on board. You follow? So I would have to answer them as though they knew. Yes. But I am trying to get what he's getting at, what he's trying to get at. Yes. And he's not coming, so it means that he might have to meet me to talk to me one-to-one, so I could be able to understand what he's trying to get, but he now get it. And I think I now understand him because he put it out there.
Yes. To Diamond, we say blessed night. And to Sean, we will take your comments next week. All right? I don't know if Mr. Charles would like to say that before he do go.
What you're telling us, do not trust. Who is that to be?
Yes.
Let me answer. I can't leave that to
right,
you making a joke.
All right, you'll take that.
I am saying don't trust Mr. Duke because we have ample proof that Mr. Duke is offering himself to contest the election in Tobago, and he has already sold out to the other party in Trinidad. The other people you are talking about that are in Tobago with One Tobago Voice, they have no post. They are just individuals in Tobago just like you. And we also want Mr. Duke to be on board that too. But we can't send him because you want me to send him to represent me when he decide already and say to the country, I will join with the others. So Tobago will have no voice. I not trusting him. Is he tell me don't trust him? No, I said that. He said so. He said, if I win, I go in and join either one. Till Raul even tell him what? By them things where you have over you. If I even want your 2 seats to become government, I would have refused them. Ain't you said? Yes. So it's not I who say anything. So Mr. Is who the last that is Antonio? No.
Mr. Wilbert.
No, Sean. Say Mr. Duke is thing how we could to trust. Nah, it's not me, Mr. Duke tell me don't trust him. Because you already say I am going to join with them side. And once you join me that side, you can't go talk for me in Tobago. Exactly. How could I send you? And that's the point I'm making.
Okay, viewers, don't forget, only because we start a little late, we run up into the hour. It's now 4 minutes after that
God is good.
Swing of 8 o'clock.
Wow.
That was nice having you on board. Don't forget every Tuesday,
this is nice.
Out right here for us. From 5:30.
Good night, brother.
All right, from 5:30 till 7. Right here with Mr. Charles. And don't forget, we have a talk show on Thursday too. So, on the behalf of GLS, it was nice having each and everyone inside.
Very nice. Good night. So these off now.
There was a little black boy was he. The boy went to school and he come out unseen. Never learn how to read, he never learn about math. Never learn how to write, he never study about that. All he study was his speakers, his sneakers and clothes. He learn how to dress and he learn how to pose. He can't get no work, he can't get no job. He decide to steal and he decide to rob. But little black boy couldn't last long at all. The police put a bullet through his dunce head skull. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and off poverty. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and all poverty. Why, a rude boy was he. All the boy ambition was to conduct a maxi. With a ring in his nose, a gold teeth in his mouth. He feel very proud when they call him a tout. So proud was the boy that the boy never learned. He could have worked hard and buy a maxi of his own. So he hustled for $1, he hustled for a smoke. He hustled so that he could buy a little coke. Now he hook on the coke and off the maxi. And one more little black vagrant in the country. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and off poverty. Little black boy, think about your race. Little black boy, when will you find your place? Little black boy, go to school and learn. When you're black, you just black. You can't help but being black. But because you are black, you don't stay in the back. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Look in the front, see who's the doctor. Look in the back, see who's the lawyer. Look in the bank, see who's the banker. Look at the business, who's the owner. Look at the staff, see who's the worker. Look at the truck, see who's the damn man. Look who eating out of them garbage can. Look in the jail, see who you see too. A lot of little black boy just like you. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, show some concern. Little black boy, education is the key to get you off the street and off poverty. Little black boy, go to school and learn. Little black boy, you have to show some concern. Little black boy, think about your race.
Little black boy,
when would you find your place? Why, little black boy, take a look at yourself.
little black boy,
Take a look at yourself.
little black boy,
Put your guns on the shelf.
little black boy,
Watch what you do.
little black boy,
Take a good look at you.
little black boy,
Look at other people too.
little black boy,
Is that the way you should be?
little black boy,
Don't put drugs in your vein.
little black boy,
It would drive you insane.
little black boy,
Addle your brain.
little black boy,
Don't you be no fool.
little black boy,
Keep yourself in school.
Little black boy.
When you're black, you just black. You can't help but being black. But because you are black, you don't have to stay back. Be black, but be conscious. Brother, be black, but be conscious.
Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious. Be black, but be conscious.